Hey there, everybody. My name is Kate, and welcome to my channel, Trinergy Awakens Naturally. Channeled message. I'm just going to get right into it. I went for a walk today, and as I was walking, I got a lot of downloads. And right now, with the solar activity and the lunar activity, the eclipses, impending Mercury retrogrades, probably in the pre-shadow by now, I'm sure it is, and all of the transits that are happening, some, haven't seen this in a lifetime or two or three or four. We're getting a lot of harsh energy coming at us from outer space, and that really trips a lot of people up because we start to really believe that people with tin hats and foil hats wearing that to protect themselves are just weirdos, and they've got nothing good that they can say. Quite honestly, there's truth in everything. There's also falsehood. It depends on your perspective, it depends on your intention, and it depends on what is the message that's being conveyed and why is it being conveyed. There is absolutely solar activity, there is lunar activity, there is activity frequency, waves, microwaves, radiation, sound waves, frequency of all kinds that comes toward Earth. And when we kind of poo-poo that and just say, oh, those are the crazy people that wear, tinfoil hats and stuff, and they're just dismissed as kooks, dismissing anyone is a problem. However, dismissing people who are doing what they know to do to protect themselves in whatever way it is that they need to. Believe me, if somebody feels like they need to wear a tinfoil hat, I can totally understand, because the dome space, the crown, the chakra needs to be protected, and people don't look at that with a whole lot of respect because they don't understand the forces of nature that are beyond Earth and forces of God, fifth element, divinity, whatever it is. We're getting tripped up trying to label stuff down here, and we can identify the perp later. The building's on fire now. Let's go ahead and evacuate now. And that's frustrating. As somebody, I used to be a paramedic, and that's frustrating to be on a scene and watching people just walking around in the hysteria of a mass casualty incident or whatever it is. They can't handle what's going on. And yet they also can't handle getting direction from somebody who does know what's going on, of you're going to want to go that way, not that way. You're going to want to go that way. And there's only so long that people can be handheld, begged, and, please don't do that. And, it gets really difficult to watch people just go into burning buildings because they don't want to hear that tinfoil hat lady or that kook on the corner, or they're talking about revelation and tribulation and blah, 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 end time. And, I'm not going to get into it, the end time, and, because it takes it to a level of discussion that is irrelevant, whether it's a grass fire that's raging on the side of the road and it was caused right there and it burned down a whole entire neighborhood. Does it matter if you called it a wildfire, a brush fire, or you called it a freaking structure fire? It's a 5-alarm fire, and buildings, people, animals, assets, all kinds of stuff just burning to the cinders because we're busy arguing about who's going to take control of the scene, whose house it is, whose fault it is, and blah, 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 and assessing junk that who cares? Who cares? Get your priorities straight, or, just come into understanding that you got to have some priority other than running away and going, or that's stupid, because we are definitely getting activations, downloads, light codes, sound frequencies, etc. Whether anybody wants to believe it or not, I trust science on that. And then I add my healthy dose of faith that it's confirmed for me daily, all day long. If I'm plugged into Mother Nature and divinity and that 5D frequency, that understanding of consciousness within me, it's constantly evolving. So if it sits down and parks somewhere and bothers to assess how stupid somebody is because they wear a tinfoil hat, ooh, I've missed it. I need to go back to school for a minute and really get in there and understand that the waves of weird stuff that people are feeling, they're justified in feeling them. It's just that some of us, we really are feeling it even more because we have sensitive neurological systems. Doesn't mean we need a babysitter, doesn't mean that we need to be handheld or that we're special. It means that we can tell, and the fact that you can't means that I don't know what. It means that you're not awake enough or aware enough or conscious enough to understand that it's not about an Oscar slap. It's not about a war. It's about all of that and seeing the pattern Okay, it's not about a president who bumbled, a president who will bumble, or a leader who did such and such, or a major figure who disappointed us. That's the paradigm, and it's shutting down, going down, and being put to sleep, as in, no, this is no more time, no longer allowed. We have moved into that age of Aquarius, and I can't explain it through the Bible. I've not found that answer yet. I find it through studying ancient religion and studying the recesses of me and going into the vaults and the halls of everywhere within me and praying to my divinity and to my guides and saying, hey, talk to me, tell me what's inside here, and how does that relate to what's out here and what I see in reality, 3D realty. It's looking very upside down and weird right now. And it always kind of has to me, quite frankly. I've never understood people's priorities. Even when I was a child, I didn't understand some stupid shit. I still don't. And I'm glad that I don't, because finally, at this age in my life and at this point in my life, things are finally starting to make sense. However, I cannot look at it through that old lens of trying to make sense of it through the gaslight filter. Will leave me feeling crazy and not gaslit. It'll make me feel like I'm absolutely crazy and I won't even identify that. What? That's how we get sheepled and shepherded into slaughter situations where we just weren't paying attention, we didn't know, and we end up being very abrasive and on the offensive with everything, and then don't believe anything at all. And when we land somewhere, sometimes we're believing in the most illogical stuff ever because God becomes fanciful. There's a law and order to the universe. There just is. Mother Nature is very orderly, and divinity is very orderly. The quantum field is very orderly. It's patterned, it's coded, it's numbers, it's frequencies, and it's narrowed down to very, specific functions of how to do that. And when we're trying to jockey that here on Earth, and shove that understanding out to outer space and try to tell outer space about itself, or divinity about itself, fifth element, whatever you call all that, God, when we try to tell outer space about that, and it reflects back to us that, no, you don't have a very good understanding of that yet. Let's try that again. We're getting mad and we're warring with one another. We're hating one another. And we're blaming divine masculine for being overbearing, raping, pillaging, plundering jerk. And then we're blaming, not enough, divine feminine, who might be taking on that role as kind of a tool because we're angry that we've been hurt. The old paradigm is one of oppression and abuse, and it doesn't matter whether it's coming out of a man or a woman. So at this time, we got to really choose differently and better, and understand that somebody that's wearing a tinfoil hat talking about something is no different than, your spouse who's talking to you and saying, hey, this is a problem. I think we need to talk. And if you dismiss that as just, oh, well, it doesn't matter, we're perpetuating the paradigm of divine masculine and divine feminine that needs balance. And every man and every woman needs to find that balance, no matter how they identify gender-wise, nor whom it is that they sleep with. We have got to stop crucifying masculine behavior as bad, and also stop crucifying female behavior as bad. In balance, it is what is necessary. And every man I know needs to adopt more of the divine feminine. And every woman I know needs to adopt more of the divine masculine, because that is what we're being called to do with this new age of Aquarius. Humanitarian means that we have to step back and really feel the compassion for other people. We have to be able to stand in their shoes and understand, or at least even attempt to understand that, how was that for you? And really get it. And a lot of us, we don't want to do that because we've had horror that was done to us, and we don't want to try to remember that. We're busy, doing anxiety in a million different ways, and, naming fight or flight, 1,200 different things. It's all fright. That's all it is. It's response to either run away, fight, or, anything else. It's related to, I'm not dealing with this. I'm either going to physically run away, okay, or mentally run away, same thing, or I'm going to stand here, mentally run away, and physically engage you. It's all the same terrible response, and it's time for our emotions to take in the messages, beautiful messages from energy that's cosmic and is quite balanced, knows how to do that male-female thing already, because gender doesn't live in outer space. Gender is a human thing, and it's not in outer space. It's a frequency. It's a frequency. And unconditional love, when it's expressed through a woman, is a very loving divine divine feminine. Yeah. And it being expressed through a man is divine masculine. So unconditional love, it matters not the gender of the person that is emitting it. It's a matter of just please get there to where you can, and that not running away from the fear of I can't dominate that, I can't have that, I can't change that, I can't and excuse me, and I can't be stopped, because the truth is the truth is the truth is the truth. And no matter how we try to justify our terrible behavior, no matter what it is, and I answer to the same roll call, so please don't assume that, I stand around in some lofty place. I answer to the same standards, that when we're justifying our behavior and asking the universe to, explain it to us, and then mad when the universe does and says, that's not working, humans, we're not doing that anymore. We've moved cosmologically and astronomically and astrologically, we've moved on, and it's time to evolve. It's time to let that old stuff go extinct, let it go goodbye, let it go. Humans, we don't like to 11. We don't like to let go. We like to hang on to stuff because it's fear. And what is it that you would be afraid of losing? Losing the old story, losing the old understanding of yourself, that you're a terrible person and you're horrible and everything you've ever done that was bad, is amplified 200 times. Ask the right person. A bunch of them, they're happy to let you know, whether they know you or not. They're happy to let their pain dog you down into the dirt, and you'll be spending all day, night, and tomorrow, next week, and for the next 30 years trying to pick yourself up out of that. And so, there's no more time for that. It's time only for people to recognize that I'm my own sovereign nation. Okay? And you are your own sovereign nation, and you're allowed to arrive at your fixations however they are. And if they bump up against other people in a violent and horrible way, the universe is going to continue to let you, me, or whomever it is that's exacting that kind of punishment, revenge, and weird justice, vigilante justice. You're going to continue to learn that, yeah, this isn't it, and it still isn't it, and no. And it can be a little daunting to wake up every morning and go walk and hear all these messages and get images and understand that, oh, wow, we're going to crossroads all day long. And, we all get a chance to choose. And when we think that we can outsmart divinity or outsmart, science or fifth element or whatever we're calling it, when we think we can outsmart it, or we think we can, just work outside the laws of the universe, yeah, you can get a little shady with human law. However, you can't get shady with universal law. There's no way. Earth time takes a little time for that stuff to catch up, perhaps. However, it's the coming. And the way that I know how to mitigate that is start, I get on my knees a lot and get real humble with my divinity and say, wow, where have I missed this? And where can I be more free emotionally, that I'm not listening to a bunch of junk coming out of faces that it's going to take me a week to pick myself up again. Why don't I just go ahead and put a little faith just for 2 minutes into a new story, which is, hey, Kate, you're a decent person. You make good decisions and you are okay. You are fan-freaking-tastic. Why not try that little narrative for a few minutes? Because we can always drop into the toilet anytime. That's a freebie that I can feel terrible about myself. So I'm challenging everyone, as my guides and spirit teams were guiding me and telling me as I was walking that, have courage and faith and trust us instead of the faces that are out here that are not clued in, and, not clued in enough to engage me in some gaslighting conversation that, no, that's not how that is. That's an upside down understanding. And no, the kindest way to go forward is loving kindness, forgiveness, compassion, humanitarian aid, and to also kick some hiney when it's necessary. Sometimes you got to slap a hand before you hold it. And knowing the difference between the two has been a real challenge for our citizens that we're still not quite there. However, I have a lot of faith in humanity that as we activate light bodies, every single one of us, it activates everywhere we do, and we can offer kindness. Go do that, boo. Thank you very much. I'm going to end it there. Thank you so much for your time. Get inside, baby, and get to your divine, because your juices inside, they're totally fine. You're divine, totally fine. Take care, and I'll see you again next time. Bye, friends.